Hi guys, today we leave the interpretations of Tolkien's symbolism and continue our contemplation on the war between the two factions of the global deep state and why this may well be leading to the end of the global deep state. This end of the global deep state may have been predicted by Tolkien through the defeat of the King of the Ringwraith, as we analyzed in the last video on Tolkien's symbolism. This video is the English translation. This video now is the English translation of a video I made earlier this year. Since then it has become more and more apparent that the US deep state is getting very close to its defeat by the global deep state, because Independence Day seems an appropriate day for publication. I chose publication of this video for that day. In our comments to the video on the split within the global deep state, we have determined that the US President Donald Trump is a proxy of the global monetary elite in their fight against the defected US deep state. Trump leverages patriotism only as a tool in the global monetary elite's fight against the US deep state. Therefore, he is no real patriot himself, but an employee under the protection of the global monetary elite. In this video, we will cast a closer look at how this can be distinguished and made out clearly. The role that Donald Trump fulfills for the global monetary elite can be recognized when you know about two things. One, the war between the US deep state on one hand and the global monetary elite on the other, whose proxy Trump is. And two, the global structure to which the world is currently being reformatted by the global monetary elite and the role that the USA is to play in this new structure. We have already discussed point 1 in the video with the comments on the split in the global deep state. US elite and global monetary elite are at war about who gets total control over mankind. Point 2 roughly looks as follows. The global financial flows have been increasingly diverted past the USA and towards China. The global monetary elite's control center is to be shifted from the USA to China. Global reformatting that has been advanced by the global monetary elite for years now can be recognized, for instance, by the fact that China is building huge cities. Those cities are still ghost cities today because the US deep state has been refusing to give up its status as the monetary elite's global control center and transfer that to China. However, it seems only a matter of time now when the monetary elite's global control is really shifted to China and the big cities will be inhabited. When this happens, that will be one clear sign that the global monetary elite will have won their war against the US deep state. In this cause, the NATO might well be dissolved if the monetary elite do not change their mind on it. And the USA will withdraw from the world. This explains the move for the creation of an EU army initiated by the French President Macron for the monetary elite, and the severe punishment that Macron received for that move by the US deep state, triggering the Yellow Vest movement. Which hints are there now that Trump and Q really are proxies of the global deep state and serve the global reformatting process? Let's go through the points by means of questions. So first question, what is the most obvious argument that Trump is a proxy of the global monetary elite? The US deep state fights with the global monetary elite over who will rule over mankind. Therefore, they are extremely powerful. That means they have numerous levers to make a disobedient US president's life so hard that he can impossibly stay in office. They control the US mainstream media and the European mainstream media, as you can easily tell from their attitude towards Trump. They have great influence over Congress and Senate. Only people with a comparable power as that of the US deep state would stand any chance at all to defy the US deep state on those battlefields and to make the anti-Trump campaign fail. On this planet, only the global monetary elite has the power to oppose all those levers of the US deep state successfully to scupper their fight against Trump. Without this massive protection by the global monetary elite, Trump would stand zero of a chance in his campaign against the US deep state. The global monetary elite has a gigantic influence on the alternative media in the internet, which they support with much revealing information about the US deep state. They have many channels to do that, not only the secret services under their command. The global monetary elite has 1,000 arms and countless minions through which they can act. The entire free media in the USA and the rest of the Western world is massively influenced by the global monetary elite that manages to control their thinking to some extent without them noticing. Who among all the free alternative media is aware of the crucial split in the global elites? Next question. Does this also explain the US deep state's failure to impeach Trump? The impeachment proceedings against Trump confirm that Trump can be no proxy of the US deep state. Moreover, you must know that the global monetary elite inflicted losses of billions of dollars upon those members of the US deep state who pursued the impeachment proceedings. Only the global monetary elite has such power to inflict losses of billions of dollars. The message was very clear. Either you leave Trump alone or you will lose more money. So ever since then they have thus not tried to impeach Trump again. There has been an economic upswing of the USA under Trump. Can this be ascribed to genius actions by Trump? So that was the next question. And the answer? To the extent in which Trump's measures might have been genius, they have been devised and provided by the global monetary elite. As long as Trump is working on his mission for the global monetary elite to remove the renegade US deep state from their positions of power, he will enjoy the full backing of the global monetary elite and their best experts, economically too, so that the Americans rally behind Trump because of his economic success. When Trump became president, many observers commented that an economic success of the USA under the Trump administration would show whether Trump is a man of the system or whether he is really on the side of the American people. They commented that if he enjoys economic success, that will demonstrate that he is a man of the system. Apparently, those commentators were not aware of the split in the global elites. His economic success only shows that one side of the split elites is fully backing Trump while the other side is opposing him. Trump's economic success does not prove that he is a member of the US deep state. For the renegade US deep state is surely against Trump. But the USA enjoy their current economic success only because the global monetary elite support the US economy accordingly. So Trump enjoys the full backing of the global monetary elite in their war against the renegade US deep state. If the entire global deep state was against Trump, the USA would have suffered an economic depression already long ago, and the people themselves would have expelled Trump from office. The economic success of the USA under Trump alone shows clearly the support of the global monetary elite for his administration. And they only grant this support because Trump is their man working for them. Next question. How long for will the economic success of the USA last then? As soon as Trump will have fulfilled his mission and the global monetary elite no longer needs the American people to support Trump, the USA will impoverish, probably not sooner, but also not much later. If Trump is still president thereafter, he too will be unable to do anything against the impoverishment of the USA, just because he is now not responsible for the current economic success of the USA. The global monetary elite in the background alone is responsible for the current economic success, and their motive to cater for that economic success is only their will that the American people are to support Trump until their victory over the US deep state. When the impoverishment of the UAE sets in severely, that will be one of the signs that will show that the US deep state will have been defeated in the meantime, and that the global monetary elite no longer need the Americans' backing for Trump. The global monetary elite want the deindustrialization and impoverishment of North America and Europe, so that we no longer have the economic capacities to bring about just economic systems that can end the power of the global monetary elite. Neither Trump nor any other Western politician will be able to stop that process. The process can only be stopped by a further awakening of the people in the Western world, by making ourselves independent from the monetary system of the global monetary elite. That matter is discussed in my books, which however are available in German only at the time this video is made. Next question. Are there any examples that Trump support reformatting of the global deep state with a shift of the global control center from the USA to China? Trump's verbal attack on the Iran and the cancellation of the atomic treaty with the Iran showed that the Iran shifted their orientation from the USA to China. That was exactly what the global monetary elite wanted. In this way, Trump himself brought down the remaining US influence on the Iran. Trump's empty threats towards China then, later, were to obscure that he supports the process of shifting the global monetary elite's planetary control center from the USA to China. After all, he is to be perceived as a patriot. Aside from that, you can observe that Trump is slowly withdrawing the USA from the world, to the extent that he can enforce those moves against the resistance of the US deep state. The US deep state need their control of the Middle East oil to continue their quest for world domination. At the moment, US President Trump apparently acts under pressure by the US deep state to escalate an Iran war, and at the same time he acts under command by the global deep state to prevent that war. If the global deep state has things its way, Trump will prevent that war, and the prevention of the Iran war will greatly contribute to the downfall and ultimate defeat of the US deep state. So let's go deeper into Trump's role in this video. Next question. The US deep state can strive for world domination only through their control of the NATO. What shows Trump's support of the dissolution of the NATO? Trump positioned himself early as an opponent of the NATO. Even his attempt to move the European governments to pay more for the NATO served the purpose to provoke an aversion of the Europeans against the NATO and make them desire to leave the NATO. Next question. What shows that Trump sides with the global monetary elite in the tug-of-war between the US deep state and the global monetary elite about who will exploit the gas field in the Persian Gulf and have the necessary control over Syria? What shows that he really wants to leave Syria? Trump followed the US deep state's demand and started a rocket attack on the desired airports in Syria because of the alleged poison gas there that Assad ostensibly used against his own people. Trump ordered the strike because he knew that there was no poison gas. The US deep state's following refusal to have the struck airports in Syria investigated then confirmed this for everyone to see. This intentional failure upon demand of the US deep state allowed Trump to replace several generals who had been appointed by Obama and who were thus serving the US deep state. The North Korea conflict was staged by the global monetary elite to divert the international attention from Syria so that the situation in Syria could relax. There was a lot of saber rattling between North Korea and the Trump administration without anything happening. And that achieved its purpose. The situation in Syria did then relax. Overall, Trump managed to advance the withdrawal from Syria, even though he keeps having to make concessions to the US deep state and cannot fully withdraw the troops yet. Next question. What does the war between the global elites mean for the further development of mankind? Over the last 2 decades, the renegade elite, the US deep state, mainly had control over the Western media, thus in the USA and in Europe. Their declaration of war to the global monetary elite from 9/11 meant that the global monetary elite lost control over the events in the Western world to an important part of the global deep state it once created, namely the US deep state, who defected to pursue their own agenda. That means the project of the creation of a new world order under the guidance of the global monetary elite suffered a schism that pursued their own agenda and thereby jeopardized the entire project of enslaving mankind. Following the schism, the renegade US deep state followed the original plan. Thereby, the global monetary elite that originally devised that plan was forced to partially reveal their own original plan to the public to mobilize the awakening public against the US deep state. Once they will have managed to defeat the US deep state, they will be forced to continue their campaign for the enslavement of mankind with a changed, adapted plan. In the last 2 decades, the split off part of the global deep state threatened to destroy everything, not only for the global monetary elite, but also for the whole of mankind. The US deep state wanted, and still wants, World War III that could have extinguished mankind. Therefore, the global monetary elite itself was forced against their own will to prevent the self-annihilation of mankind by the US deep state in the interest of mankind. They were forced to join forces with the patriots in the Western world to be able to stop the US deep state. That is how the global monetary elite was forced against their own preference to allow the good in the world to become stronger. That means the movement behind Trump and the now rather known Q in the USA presumably consists of 99% real patriots who work hard for genuine liberation of the USA and the other peoples of this earth. However, that also means that Trump himself and Q are proxies of the global monetary elite who lead the liberation movement in the USA on behalf of the global monetary elite to be ultimately able to steer that movement into a direction allowing the global monetary elite in their victory over the US deep state to rescue as much of their own agenda as possible. The main problem for the global monetary elite is that overall the US deep state is a part of their own global deep state. So it is the creator of that global deep state who currently must eliminate a portion of its own global deep state through their proxies Trump and Q, because that portion split off and has been pursuing their own agenda ever since. And they must attempt to carry out that operation in a manner allowing the remainder of their global deep state to recover so that they can carry on with it. In medical language, the monetary elite have been attempting to remove a large organ from the body that has fallen sick, so sick that it damages the rest of the body, and simultaneously they must assure that the body can survive. In this case, the global deep state. That is what needs to be seen so that we can prevent the global monetary elite to preserve their global deep state after the defeat of the US deep state, which they will make look as if the global deep state itself had been defeated, which will not be true. So next question, are there any specific hints with respect to Q showing that Q ultimately only represents the interests of the global monetary elite? It is not much with which Q reveals himself, since he needs the full backing of the patriotic forces in the USA to be able to defeat the US deep state. However, he did reveal himself. According to Q, it is too much to bring all evil machinations of the US deep state to the light of the public. Only 20% of the evil can be allowed to surface. 80% of the evil must be dealt with in a different manner, since otherwise the trust of the government in the government and therefore the entire society would collapse. This is a clear indicator that Q wants to keep a great portion of the power takeover from the US deep state in the dark. Nobody has the right to decide what truth the public can persevere and which one it cannot. The public has a right to know the full truth. It can be hoped that the American public will keep pushing for the complete revelation of all crimes after the defeat of the US deep state. For if all facts come to the light, this will mean that so many machinations also of the global deep state will come to the light that it will not be able to prevail. And that exactly shows that Q's statement to keep 80% of the machinations of the US deep state unpublished reveals that it is his task to allow only as much truth to come to the light that the global monetary elite can manage to continue their global deep state. Also, it seems in the circles around Trump and Q that they would like to continue with a safe 5G technology. But there is no safe 5G technology. I hope that the American public does not allow to be fooled by this. In the last video, we analyzed the symbolic meaning of the events in Tolkien's Lord of the Ring for our time and the crucial time to come. In Tolkien's videos 3 and 6, we looked at the meaning of Frodo's imprisonment in Minas Morgul and Princess Eowyn's victory over the king of the ringwraith. The orc Shagrat kills the orc Gorbak, and Eowyn kills the king of the ringwraith. So in the light of what we talked about today, let's summarize again the who is who in our world. The renegade orc Gorbak in Minas Morgul symbolizes the renegade US deep state that challenges the global monetary elite in their quest for world domination. Before Gorbak returned to Minas Morgul, leaving the battle against Gondor, he had served under the king of the ringwraith. The king of the ringwraith symbolizes the global deep state that was created by the global monetary elite over 230 years ago. The orc Shagrat, who is loyal to Sauron and commander of Minas Morgul, symbolizes the proxies of the global monetary elite. Thus mainly the head of the states of the BRICS countries, as well as Trump Q and the heads of the entire alliance, in their war against the renegade US deep state. That means the US deep state is a part of the global deep state. The fact that Gorbak served under the king of the ringwraith means that Gorbak's defeat also entails a massive weakening of the king of the ringwraith that cannot be seen in the Lord of the Rings as such. This is only visible when you understand the symbolism. This means only through Gorbak's defeat is the king of the ringwraith vulnerable and invincible at all. And that means only through the defeat and the end of the US deep state in their battle against the global monetary elite for world domination can the global deep state be exposed at all, and might he be defeated in the end. That is the connection between the defeat of the orc Gorbak in Minas Morgul and the defeat of the king of the ringwraith not long thereafter. For the 99% of the people supporting Trump and Q who believe that they are real patriots, it will be helpful to realize that in reality they are figures of the global monetary elite in their war against the US deep state. So that not only the US deep state, but ultimately also the global deep state can be dissolved. The selfless efforts made by those 99% of the American people in their battle against the US deep state, and of course by those who already look through Trump's and Q's real agenda, fighting for an actual end of the deep state, not only in the US but also worldwide, are those 99% of the patriots are symbolized by Princess Eowyn of Rohan. All they need to do is to keep exposing the global deep state after the defeat of the US deep state. Even if Trump Q and other proxies of the global monetary elite will tell the public after the defeat of the US deep state that the global deep state has now been defeated worldwide. That will not be true. If enough people understand this, then also enough people will keep pushing for full continuing exposure and dissolution of the global deep state, even after the end of the US deep state. And if this is done, the global deep state might also be dissolved. Right now, the alternative media are fully focused on the end of the US deep state. However, we should try and see the whole picture, meaning not only the US deep state, but the global deep state. We should focus on exposing the entire global deep state so that they cannot continue. And for that purpose, it is helpful to recognize the game played by Trump and Q in service of the global deep state. However, ultimately it's not even necessary to reach a conclusive judgment on Trump and Q. It will be enough to keep pushing for the exposure of all crimes after the defeat of the US deep state. If Q does not have his way to keep 80% of the deep state's crimes in the dark, then the entire global deep state can be exposed and thus defeated. And if we can work towards that goal, it will not matter which side Trump and Q are on. Before we return to the talking video series with the videos number 7 and 8, we will have another series of videos covering our monetary system. This series will then help to understand the talking videos 7 and 8 much better, because they will be about our future between the end of the global deep state and the ultimate end of the current dark age, symbolized by the ultimate destruction of the One Ring. That time will partly be characterized by a global spiritual awakening, symbolized by the victory of the men of Gondor and Rohan in the battle for Minas Tirith, and in parallel partly by a heavy burden on us coming from the monetary system, symbolized by Frodo's and Sam's arduous journey through Mordor, because the One Ring becomes heavier and heavier. So watch out for it. That's it for today. Always remember, we can create in the world only what is within us. If we want peace in the world, there must be peace in our mind first. Like, share and subscribe. If you have questions or ideas, leave me your comments. See you.